Howdy, friends. Jumping into a playoff game, I guess the sort of final playoff game of the inaugural 1846 Live Play League. Folks been having a lot of fun with this one. I can't wait to kick it off again. Should have another one up very soon, if not immediately. I think I'm going to take probably 1 week of a break, and we'll kick it off probably, well, I guess it'd be 4th of July weekend. Maybe we'll do it on the 5th of July. Or maybe we'll wait until the 12th. But either way, it's definitely happening. So without further ado, let's dive in there. We got the actual championship coming up this Saturday. So that would be just a few days. This is Wednesday the 18th. So yeah, I mean, Saturday the 21st, championship game, and the winner of this game right here will be in the championship. So this is for contention. This is kind of like for all the marbles, you know. Awesome. So jumping in here, it looks like we've got no Lakeshore Line, no Michigan Central, no Tunnel Blasting, no Steamboat, no Erie. Love to see the meat packing with PRR. There's some really powerful things you can do with that. Looks like HJM gets to go first. Railman, DeYoung, and El Cabe. And then, of course, the players will par in the opposite order. We had an $80 mail contract, so full price mail. That's pretty unusual. I know I've said before the mail contract is a liability at $80. In the early game, it really provides no income, and it means you have to par a little bit lower. So I generally like to see that for 60 or less, but it's kind of a delicate walk, you know, because you don't want to let somebody get it for 50 or even 40 or less. That can really warp the game because, of course, they'll be able to buy it in for the full 80 and give themselves huge income boost heading into the second stock round. And that second stock round, as somebody pointed out, is really critical. And we'll talk a little more about that. But so we can just go right through. This is what everyone got. El Cabe, Michigan Southern minor. DeYoung, Chicago, Western Indiana, and that full price mail contract. So they've got 260. Both these players 260. Railman with 300. O&I and meatpacking. Pretty good with PRR. You can kind of maybe get an early east to west run that way. And HJM, Boomtown, Big Four, Little Miami. So this combo is incredibly broken. Let's see what they're able to do with it. But yeah, this is one of those, like in my strategy guide, I think on the first page, I said like, hey, in the draft, right? It is a draft. Don't let somebody get, really broken combos, right? Be that person that takes that Little Miami from them or something, so they don't get to, kind of have everything, or snag the Boomtown. Even if you can't use it, it's still not bad. It's going to provide you with some income. Of course, the income from Little Miami better than the income from Boomtown. But yeah, this is a really busted combo. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. So El Cabe, no big surprise. IC at 80. Looks like DeYoung, NYC at 80, and Railman with meatpacking and GT only, so no extra tokens for them. Meatpacking and O&I only takes the GT, and probably pretty easy choice for HCM here to take the B&O. So going last can be good because you sort of have perfect information about what everyone else is going to do. So pretty good stuff, and they'll be able to, of course, get a very inexpensive token in Cincinnati and run multiple trains out of there. Due to the B&O's reserved $40 token. The Big Four, you buy it in. The Big Four lays track over to Cincinnati. Buy the Big Four, and you can get your token right in there. So really powerful. Definitely want to see what kind of monster runs we can come up with here. Jumping in, so we see the Michigan Southern player going right to Toledo. Not sure I like that. Generally, I would like to go directly to Chicago here. Lay a track in Port Huron, you can connect there. Toledo kind of dilutes your ability to make a lot of money early. They are already in the South, the MS and Illinois Central player, so they could build up here out of Cairo for a late game, um, late game thing if things go bad or they're unable to do something out of Detroit. But you lose the ability when you go to Toledo to run a 4 train from Windsor to Detroit to Chicago and Chicago connections. So now you have to get a 3-5. Now you have to buy a 5 train in order to get an east to west bonus. Well, there's a lot of advantages to just kind of making a beeline for Chicago and avoiding Toledo. Of course, if you have the Steamboat Company, well, we're going to Toledo, right? Steamboat, Michigan Southern, but no Steamboat. No, the Big Four player doing exactly what I would do. I would point up toward Chicago and most likely plan to get that um, lower left space in Chicago. These other ones could get taken up pretty early. Let's see if the IC player is going to go right to. Okay, so they're not even connecting towards St. Louis. They're trying to go right to Terre Haute. Interesting. Interesting. Normally, I would just curve right around and go directly to St. Louis, planning on having a 2 train that I can run a 2 train route right there, which is 70. Whereas if you, obviously you have a 30 if you go Centralia Cairo, but if you want to run Centralia to St. Louis, it's only 60, and you have to waste one of your tokens. And I say waste because putting a token in Centralia to me always feels like a waste. Sometimes it's a necessary evil. But Danny doing NYC things here. HJM early buy-in on the B&O. Interesting. I probably wouldn't have done that. Getting the token, you're missing a track lay here. And you're missing a whole round of income from the a whole round of income from the Big Four. I probably would have bought in early, but a good player, so I don't want to discount them at all. But yeah, you could definitely still get a double jump here with just buying 2 trains, right? If you were only going to buy one additional train, that would be the reason I would buy in early, and then that would save me from having to buy extra 2s. Or if I was able to pull and buy an early green face train here, but we're getting none of that presently. So I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but I do like how they pointed the Cincinnati tile this way, so their little Miami can upgrade and they'll get a Dayton run most likely. I don't see a third run coming out of Cincinnati unless they're going to connect this $60 tile right here. So, there's an argument to be made for, well, I can run the train better in the B&O next time than I can in the Big Four. But of course, you're only getting, you yourself in this instance are only getting 20% of that revenue, whereas you're getting a full 50% of the revenue into the the Big Four owning it. You're getting half of the revenue, and then on top of that, you're also getting that revenue as well from the Big Four running its train into the B&O. When you purchase it, you get the treasury over. So I would have waited. Let's see how it goes. If they get a third run with their train out of Cincinnati, well, that would make sense. That would be a good thing. But I don't know if it's possible. Now they've bought an additional 2 trains. So no Big Four anymore. We're looking at the Michigan Southern upgrades. Okay, interesting. So we're not doing east to west things over here in Detroit for a long time. And to come out of Port Huron, Sarnia would be Sarnia, Port Huron, Detroit. Toledo's 4, you would need 5, 6. And now we're looking at a 4-6 run, a very diluted 4-6 run, as a first opportunity for an east to west bonus. Okay, so a couple upgrades. No token though, right? So I guess we've got this, um, a couple of 3 runs here. Not bad, not bad. I would have liked to see maybe an upgrade to Port Huron versus Toledo. It costs quite a bit more, but you'd make a whole lot more revenue here because you could run a 4 and then a 3, and your home base would be worth a lot more as well. And curiously, yeah, no big move toward Chicago for the GT to take advantage of this meatpacking company. That'd be something I'd be interested in for sure. So I think that they could have been maybe a little more optimized here, because they've got the money, they've got the $60, and they're having pretty robust runs, so they'll be able to buy these in after. But I think their run would have been a little bit more. I guess we could do the math on it, right? So they're getting 20, 50, so 100 and 100, versus if they had opened this up instead of this, this would be a 20, right? But this would be a 30. Both their trains are hitting both of them, so they would get this for the 4 train run would be a 30, 30, 50, 20. So that would be 130 just for that, right? And then the other train would be 30, 50, 20, another 100. So they could have ran for 230 instead of just 200. Every dollar counts in this game. A little bit suboptimal. Don't get another train, but they will buy in both their private companies and hopefully place the marker in Chicago. They don't place the marker in Chicago. Okay, that is certainly an error. Certainly a suboptimal. There's no reason not to place it. Something really really strange could happen. You could end up losing your meatpacking company. So it looks like HJM a little short on the money for this I-11. Again, if they would have waited and bought the big 4 and later, they would have had the money for the upgrade. I'm quite certain, and it would have been less of a run for the B&O, because the B&O is going to be making use of this 40, I guess, right here, which is the exact same thing that the B&O would have, the big 4 would have had. Also, I like to see this kind of double Louisville out of the bottom. I love the K tile here in Cincinnati. The K being, the spokes are in kind of an inverted K. Because you can get 4 trains running out of Indianapolis really effectively. And not out of Indianapolis, out of Cincinnati. But a double connection in Indianapolis is good. It's just not nearly as good as Louisville. And when you set it for that, you get a really big run one time as soon as the Browns break. Because, of course, in this game, we get to run our 2 trains even one more time after they rust, right? So, gentle rusting, becoming obsolete, etc. So if you have this kind of double Cincinnati Louisville connection, you can make a lot of money with 2 trains because it'd be 70 plus 70, so you're getting 140 times 2 for your 2 trains. Really, really broken. Oh, so they are getting the double. Okay, because they got 2 track delays. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it works out. Okay, I can see it. I think it might be a little bit suboptimal, but certainly suboptimal in the long run. Not connecting to Louisville, but probably a very good run anyway. Kind of the best of the situation that we're in. It's going to be a monster run. I don't know why. Oh, we didn't put a token. We don't have a token in Cincinnati. Oh no. Okay, well it's fine. But yeah, we're still only getting a 50 here instead of getting a 90 here, since we don't have a $40 token. But we will get enough money on our payout to double jump and still buy a 3-5 train, which is absolutely outrageous. So very well done there. The end result, though, I think could have been maybe just a little bit better. Really, really good. Really, really good stuff. Let's buzz through these players' turns and see what we're up to here. So we've got a token in Toledo. We've made this connection down here in Terre Haute. really interesting. So no east to west bonuses. HJM gets a helper down here. That 3-5 going all the way to St. Louis is going to be really powerful. And DeYoung doing NYC things. Very usual, kind of a usual route to go here. All right, HJM with 270 to play with in the stock round. A share behind. Everyone else has 3 shares. They only have 2. But still, that's really impressive. 470 net worth puts them very technically, I guess, in third place here. But having a lot of shares in the B&O with its 3 trains and Boomtown is going to be really, really powerful. Also worth noting, of course, the Illinois Central has 4 trains as well, so 2 3-5s and 2 2s. They're going to have some monster runs too, and their share price is only 70. So that looks like a really good investment right now as well. And it looks like if all the other players at the table play nice, HJM should have enough to clear both their market shares and get an IC share. Pretty wild. This half pay on the Illinois Central, very unusual. They didn't run for very much. Looks like they had just had the two trains, and they ran them for 50-30 and 50-30. And then half paid on top of that. So they've got a lot of trains, but their corporation is going to be kind of starved for cash going into the later stages. If their treasury shares get bought up now, they have no way to recoup that money. And there are a lot of people that are sort of low on funds, and that looks like a great investment to me. If you could pile on for a little while at least, make some money. We're going to buzz through this, and we'll just kind of look at the end and see how things go. So it looks like HJM was able to do exactly what I said they'd be able to do, and they've caught up on shares. So having that little extra bump means everyone will come out of the stock round with 5 shares. Letting anyone clear their market shares is like let him get away with murder almost. I think that's something we should try and limit, right? Morale Man maybe can ride on the coattails of the B&O, but not falling back when everyone else is kind of falling back. Granted, I know the IC also didn't have any market shares, but they were already kind of back. So getting to go first and kind of lead the charge here means that these 2 trains in the B&O are going to run forever, and that is absolutely broken. The B&O has so many options here. I would look to get my token in Toledo immediately. The O&I was bought in, so these hexes are no longer reserved. You can just jump right in here, tile, and be in Toledo. The GT at that point is pretty much out of the game. They would have really hard time recovering after that. And our friends at the NYC would also be pretty cut off. So I don't know. I mean, you still got, you want to do Boomtown things, but at the same time, getting this Toledo token would be pretty broken. So let's see how this plays out. Looks like they are going to do that. Okay. Still got the B&O Boomtown out of Indianapolis. Yeah, that token in Toledo is really, really good. GT saying, okay, well, I can't go through Toledo. I guess I got to go around it, and that's going to be very costly. It's going to take a long time for them to get somewhere meaningful, especially with the other players kind of nipping at their heels, cutting them off, etc. NYC coming south. Again, they're kind of cut off as well. So they've got a token now in Indianapolis. Pretty wise for them, but it does mean that the IC is kind of cut off as well. So these are really interesting track lays here. A lot of what I would say benevolence, a lot of things happening for folks that maybe wouldn't normally play out in this way. A lot of people taking advantage of sort of generous moves by other players. So Detroit's cut off, but not for long because it opens up to 3 holes as soon as we break Browns, and we could see an east to west run through here for the B&O. I would look to see them probably getting a token here in Chicago with all this cash that they have, right? And 4 treasury shares, you know, paying 430 or even more probably now. Just really going to snowball here. Having 4 shares in the company that's kind of far and away the best. Um, yeah, this game is over. We don't even really need to finish it. We'll click through and kind of see how things go, but this game is over. So no B&O token in Chicago. I guess they probably figured that GT can't get in there anyway, so they can wait. That's smart. That's a heads up play. I don't know what's going on up here with this kind of curly Q. Interesting. I guess they got cut off again here, and they're sort of scrambling. They should have taken the Toledo token, right away, probably, right? We're gonna go through the trouble of upgrading it. So we're gonna have again. It looks like no Browns. Oh no, we have a full withhold out of the NYC. Interesting. Yeah, that's really tough. I mean, I guess what are you gonna do, right? But these players running ahead of you. This one doesn't have any 2 trains. This one already ran them, so they're gonna get to run them again. Um, and the player behind you doesn't really care, right? They've got plenty of green face trains. So you're really kind of hamstringing yourself if you make this move and withhold all of the dividends, right? Put all of your shares that you can into the market. Sure, it's got a 4-6, it's got a permanent train, but it's going to be really tough for this NYC to kind of gain any ground in the late game. They're going to be way behind pretty much the entire game now. They did rust the trains, but they're going to be way behind. And the trains that they rusted, didn't really make a big difference, I don't think, in the outcome here. So we can see HJM with, again, a pretty massive lead. It doesn't look massive, 433 versus 382, but this company is just so far and away the best with the tokens that it has, with its stock price. Yeah, really well positioned. And having lots of shares in there, probably going to get a sellout. The writing's on the wall. Yeah, it looks like it. And everybody's going to want a piece of that. So it's going to rise again, get to 165, and we might even see, I think we will see, actually, a triple jump right away, which is crazy. Probably buying multiple brown face trains right out of the gate, and they'll be off to the races. So off to the races, and you're not going to catch them. Looks like NYC was sold out as well. That's interesting. I guess it's just so cheap, right? What else are you going to buy? But HJM stranding $91 in their hand. I'm sure that doesn't feel great. Okay. Securing the Chicago token now, it looks like. Yep. 870. So we're going to have probably a half pay, I guess. So no triple there, probably. 230, yeah, half pay, and then they'll buy a couple trains. Most likely. I don't think it makes sense to try and save up for a bigger train, but maybe with the tokens they have. Yeah, they elected just to buy 2 Browns. So this is a winner take all, by the way. There's maybe get an extra point for second place, but nothing doing. Finally, we see Detroit to Windsor connection. Very expensive one, but someone took the initiative and did that. So D Young with another full withhold for 560, and still short, it looks like, of the money to get that next train. So probably a half pay yet again out of them. This game in particular is a short game. There's finally a triple jump for the B&O. They're just again off to the races, and you're not going to catch them. They're going to be, way in the lead here. But these withholds and things are really detrimental. This is a great example of that, right? So things kind of snowball. Um, Imagine a little tiny snowball at the top of the hill, and it's rolling down and picking up more snow and gaining momentum. Um, you know, that's how 1846 is. Not every 18xx game is like that. There are a lot of games where those strategic withholds or early withholds can be really good. They can sort of pay off in the late game, but in this game, it's so short that you always end up suffering, right? Because the other players that are paying themselves are getting they're getting shares, and then those shares are paying them more money. They're getting more appreciation, and that snowball is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's really hard to catch up. I mean, this game is the race for the Midwest, so that tells me everything I need to know about it. That it's very much a race. It's very much um, it's going to be over fast, and those withholds and stuff are just so punishing, so punishing. So I think we can kind of click through here a little bit. This one is over to see who gets the last token in Detroit. I don't know that it's going to really make a big difference, but um, the Young, it seems like they could get in there if they wanted to. At least they would have an east to west run this time, but they elected not to do that. Going to go for the half fade. They'll have exactly 800, 802. Looks like. Oh no, they full withheld again. Oh my goodness! Wow, the full 290 to buy the big train. So the people that invested in this, again, it would pay off in the long run if there were a long run. This is a wild game, almost 5K left in the bank, but they didn't make much this time. Those investors in the NYC, it went back. No payouts, and we can see that D Young doesn't even have enough money to buy even one share this SR, this stock round, whereas everyone else has ample cash. Of course, in the lead with a big lead over here is HJM with almost 700. So they'll come out with a big lead. I'm going to fast forward through the stock round and click back one space, and we can see exactly where the lead is. But yeah, so 12 shares over here, 7 shares, and only 10 shares. So big things are happening. Interesting track developments. Big runs for the IC. They're going to get that second train now, and these should be monster runs for the NYC. For the rest of the game, we've got the mail contract and these two big trains, but it ain't gonna matter. You got somebody way up here and you're way back here. That share appreciation is just, that's a huge gap. Share appreciation, of course, being, as the stock pays out, it goes up in value, and then the increments uh, uh, get to be higher as you go up. So here we have a gap of only 10, right? A gap of 12, but up here it's a gap of 20, right? A gap of 25, a gap of 30, a gap of 40. As you get higher and higher, so it's the share appreciation is really important as well. It's not just the dividends that you're missing out on. So GT Railman in kind of a no man's land here with $463. The next train costs way too much to really even consider trying to hang back to afford it. But at the same time, they know that there's no way they can catch up. I mean, we're finishing games just for the sake of finishing games and having a winner. But at this stage in the game, there's no way anyone can catch up to HJM. A large part of this, this kind of runaway that we have here is due to the draft, right? So, um, if even one player at the table had said, "Okay, I know that Boomtown is in here. I know Little Miami's in here, right? I don't want someone to get both of them. Ideally, I could be the one that gets both of them, right? That would be the mindset I would have if I were drafting. Um, but I really don't want someone else to sort of get all of the action, right? Big Four, Boomtown, Little Miami, pretty busted. You get to do a lot of really crazy things. Um, we could have a different game if they hadn't let HJM clear their market shares. Different game, right? If they didn't have this kind of runaway, if one of the other players was sort of out in front of the B&O and could have rusted their trains potentially, right? Um, different game. But getting to run those twos forever and ever and ever, pretty good, pretty tough to come back from that. So kind of a formality of a stock round here. PRR floated, so it looks like the GT, um, did buy a second train on a withhold, and again, withholding in this game is just like just driving nails into your own coffin, typically. As we'll see, I mean, there's no way to catch up anyways, but um, yeah, the game is going to be over here in short order, even though the PRR is going to buy another train. It's a foregone conclusion at this point. GT getting a token Dayton doesn't really serve to do a whole lot here. Kind of blocks the B&O, I guess, but there's no play here. Still running for 640, and it's only a single jump. Kind of impressed with the Illinois Central's rebound, all the way from $70 a share, all the way up to running in second place. I guess when everyone else is withholding and kind of doing shenanigans. And Illinois Central did manage to get 2 trains out of the deal, so good for them. Yeah, that's it, folks. It's over, and we can see how punishing those withholds were for De Young. Uh, almost double their score for the winner. Kind of close for second place. Just a few $100 separating, but well done by HJM and the other players. Something to think about for next time, right? We can kind of curb some of this. This is an absolute runaway, and this is how these things happen, right? Letting people clear all their market shares and letting them kind of get really extraordinary private companies in the draft. So great combo, but well played by everyone. I'll look forward to facing off against HJM this weekend in the inaugural 1846 Live Play League Championship game. Thanks for watching.